What it do? It's your boy OK Bet, aka K Trades, baby. I know what's going on. And today we outside, man. We outside on the balcony. Feeling a nice little breeze today. It's not as hot as Houston weather, so we're gonna be doing a little filming outside. I'm thinking about doing little film, little videos in different locations of the complex. Switch it up a little bit. But yeah, today was a good day. Made some money on, man. 2 L's, 1 dub. I mean, my fault. 2 dubs, 1 L. I did call the first trade of the day. I woke up late. It was an L. Right, we tried puts a little early. We weren't wrong. We were just early. Not just playing. But yeah. So we ended up, doing whatever we had to do. Banked, smacked on both sides of the ball, and now let's get into the trades. See what happened. Why did I, call different trades, and why did I, kind of what we're looking for now, right? So, off tops. Last night, last video. Remember, I told you guys I'm not really interested in those shorts. Right at this level, because what do we always remember to do? Look left, right? Look this way. Look what we have here. Trapped everybody short. I hate these people. Trapped everybody short and then absolutely squeezed, right? So, like I said, I didn't want to go short underneath that swing just because this is what a technical bear trap would look like, all right? And it was. So we ended up gapping up. Actually crazy. I'm so glad I didn't swing. And yeah, just kind of I woke up late, so I'd missed all of this opening. I got cooked right here, right? And it was my fault because I didn't see the candle closing. I was more like I said, I'm more focused on the price action. I wasn't really, like I said, being impatient. 100% my fault. But yeah, I ended up getting in without waiting for that candle to close, and then it ended up pushing up, and then we got stopped out for 25%, negative 25%. It is what it is. Doesn't matter because I still ended up calling out banger right back up to pre-market highs, and then puts again all the way back down. And then we basically just kind of held the 2DC puts all day, and then kind of just sold them. Once we got our main level. So I sold, I think, about like 50%. So I ended up selling them pretty early around here, around 12:30. So simple day. And then of course I caught a few scalps in here, and I'll go over that as well. Kind of like how to scalp this kind of market. And yeah, before I'm gonna get started, I do want to say I do have a lot of you guys kind of DMing me about the mentorship stuff, and I just want to say, preface it, it's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people think like, oh, trading is just this get rich quick scheme, just this, oh, you can help me trade, like help me make all this money, let me follow your call outs. Like it's not that simple. The concept of learning everything is simple, but it's not as simple as you following me or to teach you, pay me to teach you, and then you just become this amazing trader all overnight. It is a process, and I think a lot of people sometimes forget that, right? They see the gains, they see the fun, they see all this stuff, the aftermath. They never stop to think, hey, I wonder how much time he actually puts into these charts, right? How did he, get this good? I think it's something that you guys have to remember. So, because it is a lot of you guys, and I do have to kind of tell you guys sometimes, like, hey, I might not be the best for you, mentor and all that stuff. But like I said, if you are someone who takes it seriously and you do lock in and you're patient and you're understanding that this is a process, then, I will agree to, be your mentor and help all that stuff. But if you're thinking, like I said, just get rich, I'm gonna follow your trades, we're all gonna get money and get rich, it's not gonna be like that. Not saying that you can't follow my trades and stuff like that, but I'm just saying that you don't want to solely rely on call outs in order to be profitable in trading. So yeah, with that being said, yeah, take that into consideration, because a lot of people hear like, oh, he's only charging $500, like, oh my god, I'm just gonna turn into this magical trader. That's not the case, right? And I hate for you guys to just think that, because I know a lot of people do sell courses and all that good stuff and claim that this strategy, all this makes it sound so sweet, but I never want to be that, right? I don't want to come off as like a fake guru or nothing like that with you guys, but I am here to help you guys if you do need it and if you're serious about it. But anyway, like I said, let's get back to the video. Yeah, so today was pretty choppy, and we're gonna go over all this stuff. We're gonna go over basically what to do in these kind of situations. We talked about this yesterday. Yesterday's range was way tighter, low key, way tighter. This one, I mean, if you caught it at open, you know what I'm saying, or this, either way, you still could have made some good bread today, and we did make some good bread today. mRNA actually went nuts. That is crazy, man. I've never seen some of this stuff before. That is nuts. Anyone who caught mRNA, I am jealous. I am jealous. I'm happy for you, but I'm jealous. But yeah, man, let's get into the smaller time frames for why, or not why, but how to kind of peep all of this stuff, right? So for me, I love to use VWAP and my main indicators, obviously the daily SMA And then we weren't close to that today. Or were we? Yes, we were. Yes, we were, my fault. So daily and the VWAP, right? And of course you can use like 21 EMA, all that good stuff. It's still very useful. But specifically for today, the reason why I told us to kind of relax and not really expect much, and I told everybody in the chat, I said, hey, every candle will be a trap for the rest of the day, right? And how do we know? Because we have multiple, kind of things showing us. One was the extreme low volume that never really spiked until obviously the end of the day, right? And then you had the flat VWAP, right? So when a moving average is flat, it's basically letting you know, hey, there's not momentum to the upside or the downside, right? And so at first, we got this little curl up, we get this double top, whatever, cool, right? I peeped this. I'm like, all right, hold on. We got the pre-market high right here. And remember, I told y'all we can always use those overnight levels. Wherever those crazy wicks are, we can always use that as like a good range, right? And we're either going to break out of that range or we're going to reject it. Now, we have the daily moving average, right? The moving average has already curled down. And this is the daily. So remember, let's clear this real quick. And let's go to the daily chart, all right? So your daily chart, remember, I tell you guys, will always be your best time frame when it comes to confluence and confirmation, right? Confirmation comes with what? Time. What do I always tell you guys to do? Be patient. So of course, with time, mind you, we already peeped this right here. Hold on. Where's the bang? Look at this. We already remember this flag we saw. What did we say about this flag? Just like the bigger flag. What did we say about this flag? We said we need a breakout retest, right? This one we didn't really get one. We just absolutely flew, right? But for the most part, we will get breakout retest. So in this case, look, we got a daily tight wedge, boom, breakout, retest, failure, right? And this is why, remember, we swung those puts from 9:30 and then we swung them till yesterday for that very reason. Remember, because we said that, hey, one, this volume is super low on this breakout. Two, we just came from an insane move. We need to pull back. And not to mention, the SMAs were starting to curl down, right? So the momentum is telling us, hey, this is the 5-day and this is the 20. So we probably will hit the 20 at some point because this is curling down. So even if we hit it up top, if we cannot reclaim this lower resistance, this is why my main reason was to take puts, right? So we had not only this trend line, this resistance, or used to be support, turn resistance, or we didn't know, right? And I told everybody in the chat, I said, hey, we're going to do one of two things. We are either going to pump and actually reclaim that level, or we're going to reject it and dump all day, right? Or not dump all day, we're going to dump towards end of day. Where is it at? Let me show y'all. Oh, look, they squeezed so fast, I didn't even get to call anything out. But in my opinion, I think we attempt to either A, hold up here and another failure for end of day, or actually push back to the high of day, right? So at that point, we were like, well, remember, this trend line, right? Sometimes it's that simple, right? Sometimes you don't need a million signs and indicators, all that stuff. Remember, the first test is the best test. So once we tested this trend line, right, all we had to do was wait and see. Remember what I always say, time will tell. Time will tell. Is it support, resistance? We don't know. Time will tell. So unfortunately, because I missed the first test, I was able to catch the second test. And this is where I said, hey, if this does not reclaim, we will end up going lower. So that's why I was able to, snag that and catch that move to the downside. And again, that's why we didn't really short for this reason that I'm about to explain now. So everyone right now wants a pullback, right? Everyone. We all do. We all want it. Especially for people who are trying to buy like shares and all that good stuff, because this breakout was insane. $50, swept that low and absolutely squeezed. This, to me, the reason why I didn't swing puts is because this, you see how we had the failure up here and we came down and tried everybody below? This also almost low-key resembles exactly this right here, right? We had a little fake breakout. Now we've had this attempt to go lower. Mind you, we've already established our upper range, right? Remember, we established these upper bounds. We had the 775 psychological, and then that 768, right? And we kind of failure up here, tricked everybody down here, right back up, right back down, popped out on the retest, lower high. That's where we took puts, and we swung puts for 2 days, right? So, or my fault, not 2 days. We played puts Friday and then swung them for the other 2 days. So kind of where we are now, right? We're in between a rock and a hard place. But this is why I said patience is so key, right? If you waited, right, you didn't swing. And this is why I was like, I was going to swing puts, right? Well, because we were up here. I was like, I'm definitely swinging puts. But because they already paid out, of course, I'm like, I don't want to take that chance, right? So what I'm looking for specifically tomorrow, both of these trend lines, right? Keep an eye on both of them. And we'll actually line them up with what day was that? What day is this? Hold on 1 second. It doesn't matter. Well, I guess we'll use the same levels, right? 771.75, and of course high of day. So if tomorrow, right, we're kind of gapping up now, which is cool, right? If we can reclaim this trend line, remember, what is this as of now? Look left, resistance, 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 and then finally turn support. And then what did it do? Break down. And then what was the first thing it did? What I always say, first test is the best test. First test, reject, bang, right? Came down, but we held. That's the thing. That's the difference. We held in between our lower zones. So with that being said, as long as 768 and 769, hold a support, then we will attempt to push back up to where? Same levels. Remember, wash, rinse, repeat. 771.75, 772.45, which is today's high of day, which is also kind of where we broke down from over here, right? It's a little miniature level, not nothing too crazy, all right? And then look over here. Above, where do we go? 775. Below this, where do we go back to? 769. So where are we at now? 769. So what happens if we push back above, kind of like today? Could we get back above? No. So where do we go? Same spot, right? It's the same thing over and over and over. And this is why I said it's a little easier to trade once we do start giving ourselves a broader range, right? So that way it's not the end of the world. It's not like, oh man, we got this and this. But yeah, so for upside, like I said, we're going to have to reclaim both of these, right? Not just one. We're going to have to reclaim, boom, break. We're going to have to definitely reclaim this and then actually, turn this old support, right? We'd have to get back above it. And this is what I meant by we either fail from here, right here in this candle. We either attempt to get back above today or we fail and go lower. So we failed and go lower. So remember, it's never really that complicated when you actually put things into perspective as far as if this, then that, and giving yourself only, 2-3 scenarios, right? When I drew out that scenario for today, I drew this out. I literally already drew this out. I said, hey, either we reject under here, we reject up here, or we break out and go from here. And which one we do? We broke and rejected, right? So I already had some form of game plan in my head. Again, remember I tell y'all, before you get into any trades, you need to have a game plan. You need to understand, what am I going to do? Which, what's the vibes looking like, all that good stuff. Because you don't want to just get into a trade and be like, oh, I didn't set my risk, or I don't know what I'm looking for. Because then you have times where people will be like, oh, dang, well, how do I hold the trade longer? Well, you should have a predetermined set of targets to hold your trade longer, right? And use higher time frames. So with the higher time frames, I'm able to see that, okay, well, higher time frame, we go from here to here, right? And even though this may take a while, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours down there, or 3 if you want to just use the top target. But it takes time. So when doing that, you have to just let the play out, right? There's no magical sauce to be like, this is how you hold longer. You just got to do it. It's a matter of patience. It's a matter of understanding, well, okay, as long as we don't claim this, then we can get back below this. As long as we get back below this, this should be imminent, right? So even though we got in pretty early, it's okay. We waited for the candle to flip red, and then it just started flushing. So in my head, I'm like, all right, cool. I know where my target is. So your target are, you're able to hold longer, right? It's human psychology. Your brain has a fear of losing. So whenever you're winning, your brain's like, oh, let me go ahead and take my money out real quick before I lose more. And that's just not a good way to think, right? Remember, the market is going to do what it wants to do regardless. Like I said, we all wanted to go down. Oh, I guess it did. Yesterday, I was like, we all want to go down to 766. And it did, but it happened overnight, right? So, again, out of our control. We don't control when it happens, how it happens, what happens. We just need a piece, right, at wherever level. So we bought. Well, I wasn't up, but, if you bought down here, calls at support, puts at resistance, right? And this is, again, why I said I didn't want to swing, because I just didn't want to risk it, right? Because, again, look at the daily chart. Daily chart still gapped up, and there still is an upper wick. So at support, remember. So y'all know how I feel about these kind of candles. So this candle still close down here and still get a huge, green candle like this or something like that tomorrow, right? Or especially if it gaps up. If it gaps up, especially, you might get a day like this tomorrow. And that'll be cool, because then we'll just target what? We already closed the gap. We gap fill reversed, right? Boom, gap fill reversed. We didn't close this lower gap. I wish we would have, but we didn't. Right, so now what do we do? Shoot, we can either, like I said, push back up towards the 725, or In between this range, we did not lose that 768. We definitely didn't close smack in the middle. So we're still in the lower half of it, right, of this overall range. So just be mindful of, your higher time frames. Don't chase. All right, let the higher time frames tell you. Yesterday was perfect, right, when it comes to just sitting on hands. After we took our 2 trades, we were like, all right, hold on now, this is garbage price action, right? And it's okay because you can't predict this kind of stuff. You just got to see it, right? And as far as scalping, somebody asked me how do you how do you determine your scalps and all that good stuff. Well, especially in these markets, if we're already experiencing traps, tricks, all this good stuff, fake outs, all this good stuff, my brain's already kind of waiting for a trap. Right? I'm always looking for something to wick or catch everybody else slipping. So when you get candles like this, that 1 o'clock candle when FOMC came out, I was in this, right? Smack calls. What did we hit? 90. We actually made 140% on these calls, and then once we got that close below, bang, right back in puts, right? So scalping is the same thing as normal trading, except you have to kind of be a little quicker with it because the market isn't really making a decision, right? Resistance up here. Once we got this, remember the first test, the best test. First test of that we call puts, instant bank, right? 40% in that one candle, right? And then this one, of course, this is a huge move. Mind you, end of day is choppy. So technically, like I said, even though I will do it every now and then, I don't recommend scalping as a strategy or nothing like that, right? We just knew we had a double top neckline break, you know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why we knew to, kind of kept taking these shorts up here, is because if we can't get back above, then this is a double top. It just is what it is, right? No arguing, nothing like that. But even end of day, we caught both of these actually. We caught 90, or what was it, 100% and then 90% on both sides. So it's still able to catch it, but I still don't recommend scalping all that stuff when you're in the beginning. I still say like, hey, just chill out with the scalps, because you don't want that to be like your number one strategy, because you do have to go smaller time frames in order to scalp. And like I said, y'all know how I feel about small time frames. So let's get this game plan. So tomorrow, previous day's close, previous day's low, previous day's high. You have a wide range inside bar. If we're above that 50% area, right, hold that 770. Look to kind of test this upper level 771 and previous day's high. If we break that, we got to reclaim 773, right? If you reject any of those, still in this range, not really fucking with it, right? But if, let's say we reject here and start to gap down in this lower half, I still would not want to sell into this previous support, right? I would wait until we got some sort of, either we reject from here and I can catch it from here, maybe hold some runners. But if we get back below, break down, retest, then roll over, I'll look to swing some puts, into Friday and stuff like that. And we'll kind of see how that plays out, right? And another main level to watch is your previous week's low. So your weekly chart. Your previous week's low is sitting literally right here. Literally exactly where we closed at, right? Almost. So 769.25. That is a huge level, because if we cannot reclaim that tomorrow, right here, let's say tomorrow we try and we get back below, I'm swinging puts. You know what I'm saying? I'm swinging puts, because that's showing us that the weekly support is not holding anymore, and it may give us a nice decent flush. But if we do, right, and this does hold, then we're going to be looking to have another inside bar as far as weekly goes. And like I said, that's fine, doesn't matter either way. But you just want to watch that previous week low and then that previous week's open, right? And then that first week's close. So kind of in that same area. This is why we kind of have a little bit of congestion in here. So watch for these upper targets. If we do bounce, kind of stay up here. If not, break down, retest, we go lower, right? So simple game plan. Yeah, man, y'all know the rules. Keep it simple. It's as simple as you make it. If you complicate this, be complicated. If you stress yourself out, you're gonna be stressed. Keep it simple. Stop watching every minute chart. I promise you, your cortisol will go down, right? So keep them cortisol levels low, man. Stop over trading. Stop, just doing all the bad habits. Sometimes it's fun, catch a little trade here and there, but sometimes dead ass have to tell yourself, walk away, I'm done, like this is, and it's for the best. It is what it is, whether you're red or green, don't matter. Just sometimes you have to be like, hey, this is where I draw the line, you know what I'm saying? So keep your eye first, man, lock in. And we're almost at 20 minutes, man. I've been going a little longer nowadays. And again, man, y'all gotta start commenting, telling me what other tickets y'all want me to look at, because y'all wait until open to hit me and be like, hey bro, can you look at this chart, and I'm like, bro, you had all night to do this, you know. So yeah, man, just be patient with it all, and yeah, bro, just breathe. It's not that serious, and it's not that complicated. So keep it simple, and yeah, keep God first, and like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all boys later. Peace.